Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cosmic Portal. So, today we're going to be doing an interview with one of my coworkers, Richard, who's written a book. I want to start by going with this first. So, I don't know if everybody has seen Batman Mask of the Phantasm. It came out in 1993. Really good story. It kind of is in that the Batman animated series world, and I absolutely loved this movie when I first saw it. So Richard has actually written a part two to this movie, which was fantastic. I got a chance to read it about a month ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's got a little bit of twist to it. So if you do get an opportunity, let's see, Richard, where where can people pick up that book?
Right now, I have it on the website called Blurb. I'm more than happy to share the link if anybody would be interested in picking that up.
Awesome. So just wanted to ask you a few questions about your book as well. So this one, like I said, it picks up after that movie, but it's a few years later. I don't kind of want to spoil it, but I will give a little bit. So Batman is still fighting crime. We got Robin, we have Batgirl, we have Tim Drake as well, and then are introduced to a few of the Justice League members in in the book that help Batman fight, along with some of the characters that like who is it? Clayface. You got Ra's al Ghul and their faction. So you got the League of Assassins, which is kind of cool to see those guys interact with each other. Would you tell us something that we can say about the book? I don't want to give away any spoilers,
I can say this book is a lot more. It is after Mask of the Phantasm, but also it broaches a subject of a lot of, I want to say, Batman's love interest, like Bruce's romantic life. It kind of really broaches into that, but also it really brings to life exactly how maniacal certain characters are, like Joker, and of course, um, Miss Freeze, and a few others. And also towards this, but it also kind of gives a redemption arc for some of the other more established villains. So it kind of shows that not all of them, because there's a certain character that appears who asks, why they ask the question everybody asks, why don't you just kill them, get it over with? Because of course the blood of the innocents killed are on your hands because you never took decisive action. So then it's then revealed, of course, that certain villains, I won't reveal which ones now, but certain villains have actually themselves and had very fulfilling lives after being stopped.
I was going to say that because a lot of the villains did get somewhat, like I would say, a happy ending, which is kind of cool when I read that in the story. So that was neat to see. And especially, thinking about some of the people that got a chance to get married, something they're no longer doing what they were doing before, which is kind of a cool little twist to the story as well. My thing, I love DC. Calibus is a huge Batman fan. Calibus, you did get a chance to read the story as well, correct?
I did. I was intrigued at the way you went uh about the storyline. I I must admit though, I when I was sitting there going, I was like, man, okay. Um I do like the way you gave us the introspects on the lives of the characters. You know what I mean? I think you should submit some of your work because we definitely need somebody who understands the fandom a lot more than the people that are out there writing it now. Sadly, oh my God, man. When Mark he was like, "Yeah, I need you to check this out. Tell me what you think," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, it kills me how we as fans can do something like this and then you get these people that supposedly are fans and they have no clue what these characters are about. You did a really good
Agreed.
job. a really good job at, I mean, I felt for some of the characters, and I mean, to be honest with you, you gave some insight to some of the villains, and I was like, okay, I didn't think of it that way. You know what I mean? Um, I'm trying not to spoil anything, or what I mean. And it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah,
But I do want to say that if you ever get a chance to submit something for DC or something, man, you should. You really should, because I'm telling you, although DC's animated division has really been a good staple for DC, having someone like you come in there and actually, writing material, good material that makes sense, that doesn't, you know, hijack and go into a totally different left field of something, would be a refreshing view to have.
Oh, believe me, that's definitely a dream of mine. So when I started writing this, I just started writing it for a fan fiction website, and it really took off. I mean, I had over 100,000 followers at one point, so so I knew that it could be something good. And honestly, I was just sitting around this one day, and I knew Mark would like DC, so I just asked him if he wanted to check it out. So that's how that ball got rolling. But yeah, I mean, to write something officially, I would actually really love to do that. Um, I'm not for certain how to on what path to take to do so, but if I ever find the right route, yeah, for sure.
yeah, I have to agree. It would be something nice to read in that format. Um, and I have to say, like, I do watch all of the DC stuff that was on TV, and I they start off well. You know, I'll give them that. They all started off really well, especially what is it, Flash. I loved Arrow. You know, the first two or three seasons.
Yeah,
Then after that, I kept watching to see who wrote this because I'm like, did they ever write anything? Do you know if they've done this? And then I was like, yeah, I can't do it anymore. The only show that I thought was pretty good was what was it? Stargirl, I think was that show, but that was all Jeff Jones. You know, John
yeah,
Jones. He did that whole show. I love that. But then the other one with the what was the other one with the girl?
Supergirl.
No, no, I didn't like that either. But
Okay,
no, there was a black girl that was a superhero. I hated that. So I can't
I'm
remember.
not sure what that was.
Yeah,
Oh
Naomi.
wait, are we talking about Ironheart?
No, no,
Oh,
Naomi. Ironheart was that's not good either. But I try hard to, to try to support stuff like that. And then when I see somebody who has their own idea and that they really do a great job with it, I don't understand why, you get these other people that have no idea what's going on with the IPs, but then somebody else can write something that has a great IP. Now you said that when you did this, you just had an idea. About how long did it take you to write this whole story to begin with?
well, to be honest, so what I ended up doing was, of course, I was watching the Batman movie, and I was kind of thinking of ideas in my head, and then I watched Smallville. I know this is a strange call out, but I'll get to the point here in just a second. So, after watching Smallville and after watching the Batman movie, I was thinking, why can't the characters be more three dimensional? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, Batman the animated movie, The Mask of the Phantasm, is great. It's wonderful, but I thought the characters could be more three dimensional, like they started with him with the whole Andrea thing.
Oh yeah.
Um, and with Smallville having so much three dimensional aspects thrown into their characters, unlike earlier adaptations, I thought, you know what, I'm going to copy what Smallville did. I'm going to try to write a book with Batman characters and see if putting the 3D aspects of Smallville into the Batman universe would work.
Okay.
So, with some of the villains, I gave them actual reasons to be villains and reasons to leave that lifestyle. I also gave Bruce actual decisions and things that he had to think about along with other characters. Like I'll just give one right now and say like Red Hood, and like Nightwing and like Robin and like all of them and Barbara. I gave them all, actual things they had to think about, decisions they had to make, with, of course, the consequences involved. So I believe that brings the characters more to life than just having them go bang pow and all that stuff of the Adam West age.
Yeah, that's true. When you say it like that, I can actually see, especially the moral compass with Batman, with Catwoman, with Batgirl, and all of them. They really took the time to think about their actions prior to doing anything, which is fantastic. Because like you said, it's never a three-dimensional character. Smallville did take their time to create those characters, which was great. But then, you get other ones that don't do that. So I definitely understand the difference in the two. Let's see. But besides that, I know you've also written in Gargoyle's World. Um, I love that show. That was one of my favorite shows when it first came out. And you've used Demona as your main antagonist in your stories. Is that correct?
The main antagonist, leading up to being a lead protagonist. So
Okay.
it's more of a redemption. It's more of a redemption arc for her.
Okay.
But that I have two of those books finished now. I believe I've sent you the links to those.
Yeah.
However, the I'm working on the third book, so just wanted to let everybody know about that. So I'm still working on the third, and at this particular time period, after the third book, I'll be working on a fourth. So the fourth is going to be the final book of that series. It's not just gargoyles; it's also dealing with their past lives as they use the Phoenix Gate. It's dealing with Judo Christianity. It's got the archangels Michael and Gabriel and Lucifer in it. Um, so they're dealing with more apocalyptic things as well. So
Okay.
there's a lot going through. I've also copied the same concept of making them more 3D type characters. Although Gargoyles did a great job of that anyway, but so it
Yeah.
was much easier for me to get the head of those characters than it was for say like other for some DC projects.
Yeah. I can see that because DC, like you were saying, and I thought about that. Justice League, the animated series, when that came out in the early 2000s, I rewatched that recently, and I noticed that the story would start off. You'll get the whoever's in the plot or the story at that point. They're talking, doing whatever. Something comes, whatever it is going to be, and then immediately there's a fight. And that's how they ran that whole show for the 4 or 5 years that it was on. It was you sat there for a minute, they would talk for a minute, and then whatever criminal showed up, it immediately went into a fight. And I thought, if a being came from another planet, you never give them an opportunity to say, "Oh, hey, let's." You don't know if if that person is evil or not. It's always just I'm going straight to kill somebody. And I was like, they should have taken a little bit more time to develop that beforehand. When I watched it the second time, I loved it the first time, but looking at it the second time, I'm like, yeah, that's just straight up a fight.
Yeah,
Why didn't they, do something else? Maybe make the stories a little bit longer instead of that 20 minutes that they all are. But it did well. I just think their animated movies the movies are better. Um, and then I know we talk about the TV, not the TV shows, but the actual DC movies themselves. I still enjoy them, but they have had issues recently. Um, I enjoyed Superman, and I know Calibus, he talks about it. He just didn't like it as much. I think it was okay. He's still more of a Man of Steel guy, which was a great movie. But when I think about it, that's not who Superman is. That's how I look at it. Superman is more of the person that's going to save something. And I know that's old hat, but that's who Superman is. So my wife and I argue about this all the time.
Now, the one thing I will say on that regard is I believe that Man of Steel was working on the saving, but I think he was working on the saving on a much grander scale.
Yeah,
If he saw somebody falling out of a helicopter, of course he saved them. If he saw something that he could save, he saved that. He stopped Zod from killing the family the only way he could. So I gotta agree with Calibus on this one. I really believe that the essence of what Superman would be on day one, especially, I think Man of Steel hit that out of the park because day one, I mean, all Clark did his whole life before he became Superman is run around helping people, but stayed in the shadow.
true.
So to me, I think that he really did have that save people mindset. But I mean, he's dealing with, and on his first day, he's dealing with three Kryptonians who show up out of nowhere. His mom's telling him, live your own life, do what you want to do, and he
True.
still chooses, okay, I'm going to risk my life to save people. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
now the
See,
whole,
that's the talk. That's what I'm talking about. Because you can't have Superman here for 3 years, and then everybody talking about how he's saving this squirrel, and that's how Superman's supposed to be. Well, get out of here.
yeah, I mean, he didn't really face a planetary threat. I mean,
No.
the Justice Gang. I'll be honest with you, Mister Terrific in that movie was the best part of the movie. Um,
Yeah.
because I think he was honestly the main character. To me, Superman seemed like a side character in his own movie, which is also bothered me. He seemed to also be kind of comic relief. Now, was it a great movie for kids? Absolutely, I would endorse this for kids all day long. But for adults, I would say Man of Steel, BVS, Zack Snyder's version of Justice League, Aquaman. Those are probably the movies for you.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that it does take a more serious tone with these characters, it gives them a reason to do what they're doing, and it amps up the actual stakes. Superman, he could have got wiped out completely, and the Justice Gang would have taken care of everything anyway. So, and the one thing that really bothered me about this movie, I don't know if you noticed it, but when they were locked away in that prison, and that guy could create a sun or whatever, and he created kryptonite with his hands. Okay, okay, that's fine, but the sun he would have created in that environment would be in no way strong enough to help Kal-El break out of there. So that I kind of had problems with that. Also, the fact that he could have done that in the first place rather than do the whole kryptonite thing to begin with. So, um, to me, it was just kind of, and also Lex could have just killed him. So there's a lot of things with that story that made no sense to me. So I mean, granted, like I said, for I think you were talking about the Justice League cartoon just a minute ago.
Yes.
I think Superman, Justice League cartoon, Batman Beyond, a few other things were created for mostly kids in mind, which is perfectly okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you want kids to enjoy this stuff to grow up to love it later.
Yeah.
I just think that if the people are already at the later stage, that's where the more serious stuff becomes more important.
I definitely agree. That's why we were talking about the animated universe, like the Batman Mask of the Phantasm. That is not a kid movie. That is totally an adult movie. And I collect
Definitely.
all of those movies. I have Justice League, Last Frontier. What is it? Batman v Superman. All of those movies, you don't see a child sitting down and watching that. Or what is it? What is it? Just what is it? The Flashpoint Paradox, which I thought that was one of the fantastic movies. And then you get Batman shooting Reverse Flash in the head, and I'm like, that's not kid friendly at all. Or even Aquaman, blowing up the planet. So you
Yeah.
get it. When I look
Don't
at that,
forget about Wonder Woman beheading Mira.
oh yeah, she did, and then wore her
Oh,
crown.
yeah.
Yeah, so
I'll be honest. Like Injustice also was my favorite. Was a couple of my
ooh,
favorite movies. So
that is good. Yeah, because when even that one, the Superman was like, "Yeah, you got a little secret. You don't go full force. I'm going to go that far." Yeah, so
yeah,
I love that. But they did that. Going back to Justice League, the animated series, the last episode when Darkseid shot the beam at Batman and pissed Superman off. And he was like, this is my chance to really let loose, And then he punched him. The buildings around him exploded, and then he caught him 5 blocks later. So I was like, now I love that scene of that show because
Can I can I
well,
tell you something though? That when I saw that, that's when I said Batman really needs to chill out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You really need to chill out because he won't plan no more. You know what I mean? And as a Batman fan, I love to say yes, Batman. I the prep time joke, ha ha, he he. But when I saw that, I was just like, wow. You know what I mean? That was some next level stuff. So um, but I agree with you. But again, it was written for kids. Batman the animated series, however, was written for more of a young adult
yeah, that wasn't
thing.
friendly. No,
Yep.
So I mean, even though they had to pull some punches again, I remember when that was coming out, they had put Batman 1966 back on the air on the FX network. And I sat down going, I'm going to watch me some Batman. I'm going to get back into this. And I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I worship this man. What is this? This is, oh God, no, what is this? My childhood has just been melted in front of my eyes. And now I'm listening to my dad in the back of my voice when he was joking Batman. I'm like, stop, this is my show. This is my favorite hero. Da, 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 da. And he's like, look at this. This is crazy. As a kid, you didn't want to hear that. You wanted to see that. As
Yeah.
an adult, though, you're sitting there going, "What the hell was I watching, and why was this so interesting?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. I watched the Batman movie again. I actually bought it on DVD, and I got to the part where he made the shark repellent, and I was like, and he pulled out the shark repellent and stuff. I was like, I kind of turned it off, and I was like, I'll come back to it later, maybe. So
Oh my God, my daughter bought that for me, and I got all the movies, and that's like one of them in the DVD pack. I just don't watch it.
yeah,
I just set it right there, just off to the.
it's funny too though because I remember watching it back in the '80s, and then remember when Batman '89 was about to be released, and I thought, ooh, I can't see this because it's going to be that pow bang, and I was so worried that that's what they were bringing back. But at the point at that time, they didn't really show any trailers. They showed the symbol, then they showed the Batmobile, and that was it.
yeah.
You didn't get anything else
Well, like
until the movie.
yeah. For Batman Forever, all they showed was like commercials for it.
Yeah,
Like they had Alfred asking him if he wanted to eat, and he said, "No, I'll get drive through."
yeah, I
So
Yeah,
remember.
you're like, okay, what the heck is this movie about?
Yeah,
yeah, but we also got the Prince soundtrack, and then of course Danny Elfman got mad because I've got the soundtrack. No, you've got the score. You don't have the soundtrack.
Yeah,
You've got the score to the. Um, Batman has balls again because we get Michael Keaton and we get this violent Batman, which again, I'm sitting in the theater and I'm like, well, what are you gonna? Oh, Browning machine gun. Wait, are
yeah,
those bombs you're
yeah. You
dropping?
know
And
what?
the Batmobile comes rolling out. I'm like, did
Yeah.
you just kill all those people inside that building? Batwing comes
That's what
out,
cracks
Batwing
me up
guns
as
come out
well.
again, and I'm like, good, this man
Yep.
is hardcore. I didn't
Hell,
know
he
how to
even
feel
killed
about
Joker. So,
it, right?
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And
so
and that's
the
the
one
same
thing
thing
I
I
thought
thought
when I
Bale
saw
should
that
have
though,
done, though. You know that?
yeah,
When Bale did his thing, because when he told him he was too much fun and he wouldn't kill him because he was too much fun, and Batman wouldn't kill him out of some warped reality, we're destined to do this dance forever. I'm like, you got to kill this guy. You cannot allow him to go.
yeah. So what
oh,
bothered me the most though was Affleck. I thought honestly, from comic book to movie, so far he's been the best one.
Yeah.
And I saw some scenes that really, and especially the fight scene, that made me think that. Now I will say this: I know that Pattinson wanted to go the detective route, and I believe he did that okay.
yeah,
Although honestly, I thought he could have done that better, considering how much stuff he really needed Catwoman to do for him. But that
yeah.
being said, I mean, I know he was supposed to be really young, so I kind of gave him a little slack on that.
They were supposed to be
But
like
yeah,
year
with the
two.
Affleck one,
Yeah,
With the Affleck one, Affleck is getting so much crap for the violence
I was wondering.
when,
That is bad.
and then people are touting Keaton, and Keaton actually has the higher body count.
Yeah,
So
I tell you, like now that you said that, now Affleck, I think the best scene, Batman versus Superman, when he went to the warehouse to get Superman's mom. And I remember
yep,
when he shot up everybody, the cars, and then he said, "Alfred, I need you to fly." And he was like, "Everybody's on the third floor. I'll put you out on the second." And then he did the whole. I watched that scene like 5 times. I'll just keep rewinding it, turn the sound up, put the lights out because I love when he comes through the floor and just start kicking. He kicks everybody's ass in that scene, and I think that was one of my favorite scenes of that whole movie. And then when he went in the room and he said, "I'll do it," and he was like, "I believe you. I think you will do
Yeah,
it."
yeah. I know you
yeah,
will. Yeah,
I know you will, yeah. And then he
yeah.
killed the guy.
I love that scene, but also in Zack Snyder's Justice League, I
Oh yeah,
loved how they showed him. I love the guts that they showed him to have. I mean, he talked to Aquaman like, "Yeah, I don't care who you are, but you're going to help." So, and even when Aquaman had him picked up, he's like, "Yeah,
oh yeah,
okay, I knew it was you."
yeah.
So, and then against the aliens, I mean, this guy's just a human. I mean, yeah, he's got high tech and whatnot,
Oh
but
true.
not only did he put the entire team together by himself, practically, but he also, I mean, took the most dangerous runs
Oh yeah,
for the group. So,
yeah. I think he
yeah,
did a
and
fantastic job as Batman, and I love in that movie, Zack Snyder. My favorite scene is probably that end scene. I don't know why in the other version of it they had people still living in the town, and then Superman saves a building. That was over the top for me. And then the Flash pushing a car out of the city. I
yeah,
was
I was like, who's
so
still living in Chernobyl?
yeah, yeah,
Because that's where they were.
they were, and I was so upset about that. I recently watched all of them again, and I sat and watched that one first before watching Zack Snyder, and I was. It took a while to sit through that one because it annoyed me so much, And then I was like, I got to do it, and then I watched the other one, and I'm like, this was 100 times better. 4 hours, but still 100 times better when you get that story compared to the other story. And they got a chance
Yeah,
to showcase everybody, like you said, all the characters were more developed, especially what is it, Cyborg?
cyborg.
You got a
Mhm.
real good backstory on him. Wonder Woman, when she, the short scene when she was in the museum compared to what they put in Zack Snyder's version, when she's just moving her hand like this while she's thinking about I gotta stop the bomb, and the guy's still shooting the machine gun at her, and she's blocking every shot. Like I was like, that
Yeah,
was perfect. But
no,
no,
yeah,
I agree with you. That whole the museum scene, but for me, when Batman is chasing them down, the Batmobile breaks through the little building and everything else, and then Superman bumps the Batmobile, rips it open,
oh yeah,
and
yeah,
tell me, do you bleed line? That's my favorite line. You will, what I mean?
yeah,
But then again, you got him
yeah,
beating him down in that building. And I'm sitting there going,
yeah,
now run,
yeah,
run. Your time is up.
yeah,
Please run. And he stops and he holds out his hand. I'm like, hold out your hand. You're done.
yeah,
He
yeah,
is going to pummel you to no end. And then I had these
yeah.
podcasters. They're like, Batman thinks he's going to take on Superman because he's starting to work out like weights are going to do it. And I'm like, you guys missed the whole point. He needs to move with all that armor on,
yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
and
He
that's why
freaked
he
out.
did what
He
he
was
did.
freaking out.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
he's like, maybe I can block some of the damage, but I mean, he was kind of like when a person who holds up their arm against a sword. I mean,
yeah.
they're just hoping and praying for anything at that point.
yeah.
But what are your thoughts on
So
this merger for Warner Brothers?
honestly, I'm hoping it goes through, and I'm hoping that if it does, they allow Snyder to finish his stuff, even if it's animated. Because honestly, even if they continue with the DCU, I think that's okay for children because that's really what they're basing this on. But I think it would be good to finish the DCEU version.
Yeah. Well, there's certain parts of the DCU that are children. Like when you think about Suicide Squad was not a kid friendly show. Uh, Creature Commandos, I love that cartoon. That is one of the most violent things I've seen on TV. But Calvis and I agreed the way James Gunn wrote that, you get a better feeling for those characters in Creature Commandos than what you got in the Suicide Squad. Because I hated Weasel in the movie. I didn't understand why he was there. But then when you watch the animated stuff, I'm like, I love this guy. I love
Yeah.
what is it, Robot, GI Robot. Love that character. Especially when he was sitting there like, it's time to kill Nazis again.
Nazis.
I thought that was just the greatest thing. So it has, some quirks about it. I know they're going to start filming the Batman soon again, part two, and I love the Penguin TV show was off the chain. I thought that was one of the best TV shows out there. So I can't wait for that to come back. What are your thoughts on what are you looking forward to seeing?
As far as the Batman TV show goes, or the Penguin TV show, I'm not 100% sure. I know that he's supposed to be, Batman's actually supposed to be in that season. So honestly, it'll just be the first time taking down Penguin. I'm assuming is going to be the finale. But other than that, I really don't have any expectations for it. I
Okay.
see Jim Gordon. I see Jim Gordon and the police going after Batman. I see that being a huge plot point. I see. I see a lot more detective work, pretty much like the Pattinson Batman. And I see gangsters. I don't know why, but I see a lot of that. So I see a lot like the way he did it in Mask of the Phantasm. If they go that route, where he doesn't have the costume yet, but he's kind of like testing things out as he's fighting crime, and nobody's afraid of him at first. And then
Yeah.
as he's testing out different ideas, he comes up with a bad idea. That would be kind of cool. But
Well, see, I'm thinking that the Batman was supposed to be like year two, so we're still at, like you said, a younger Batman who's not really into it. I loved his
yeah,
Batmobile. I thought that was a really cool car. He did a great job at some of the stuff. It kind of was slow at points, but I still think when you look at the whole story, it went well. I know he didn't solve all the issues on his own, all of the crime, but they did give a lot of stuff to Catwoman, where she helped out a lot. I'm hoping that he's
yeah,
more well-rounded, I guess, when they come out with the next one over what he was in this one. It's been what, probably 2 years, I guess, from
yeah.
now.
The one thing that bothered me as well was Riddler wasn't really three dimensional either.
Oh no,
Like, okay, at first I thought he was gonna be, because he was like going after people. He was kind of like a Robin Hood of villains, and
yeah,
then he just went psycho for no reason whatsoever.
yeah,
He just went off the reservation. So, and then also they got to be more realistic with what Batman's suit can do,
oh
because the bomb went off like right next to his face. And I'm sorry, but that cheap mask was not going to protect him from that.
true,
Thank you.
um,
true, yeah. But I think, well, one of the things I did like about it is he cut the gun in half that killed his parents and used it as the bat symbol on his shirt, on his chest plate. I thought that was kind of neat to see, when they did that. Um, he was violent. He was a little violent, especially when he was walking in the train, the subway, and then the guy, he just beat
That's
the
my
crap.
favorite part, man. That's
Yeah,
my favorite part.
he just beat the
now,
crap out of that one
one
guy. But
one of
I
the things I say to people. Oh, what was that?
I thought that one was really a
Oh,
good movie.
yeah, I thought it was a decent movie. I don't ranking wise, I might put it above Bale's. Honestly, I think Bale was really overrated, and I'll say why. I think that he
You've
followed
just
George
earned a
Clooney,
fan.
and then a 10-year drought of Batman movies. So when he came out with Batman Begins, I'll even admit Batman Begins actually impressed me, but it was the villain, not as
Yes.
much Bale.
Yep.
And then Heath Ledger was why I watched the second movie. And when
Yep.
I figured all that out. One, because of the cancer-like voice he had, and then the when you get to the third movie, the villains. Tom Hardy did a good job as Bane. Don't get me wrong, although it wasn't really the greatest Bane I could think of. However, the villains didn't pull me into the story like in the first two movies.
Yeah.
So it really, I didn't even. I watched the third movie once and never picked it up again.
Okay.
So, honestly, that's why I think that Pattinson might be above Bale on that list. Now, as far as let me see, as far as Robert Pattinson goes, and I know a lot of people might disagree with this, but after seeing his shots, his face, what he looked like as Bruce Wayne, I was thinking this was a huge missed opportunity. I think Robert Pattinson was the ideal Terry McGinnis, and then um,
Ooh, nice.
and Michael
Okay.
Keaton could have been Old Man Bruce.
Oh man, nice.
Yeah. That's cool. I never thought about that.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. I was gonna say if I was to rank the Batman movies, I like Batman Begins. I thought that was good. The Dark Knight Returns. The last one, I'm gonna say, yeah, like you said, the voice when he's Batman is annoying. That
Yeah,
one gets me all the time. But the way I looked at those movies, they were more grounded in reality. There was nothing. There were no super villains that he had to face. It was all street level crime. The only one, and even Bane wasn't souped up on toxin. He was just some guy who worked
yeah,
out. So when I look at it that way, it wasn't too bad. Catwoman really wasn't the Catwoman I wanted to see, but she was good at what she did. So,
yeah.
but
Uh,
I think that was my
having
only
Bane,
one.
having Bane be able to break his back like that though without the juice.
Yeah,
If you follow the comics, that really didn't make sense
no,
because
Exactly.
this Batman
Yeah.
uh,
with without the juice, Batman is actually stronger.
yeah,
So
yeah. I have to agree. That part did make a lot of sense. And then to put him in the pit, for
yeah,
to heal. So
Well,
and then
that whole thing. He was like the thing that bothered me about Christian Bale was, well, I'm not going to do this movie if there's a Robin in it. It makes no sense
yeah,
to me. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, well, whenever you speak, you make no sense to me. It pulls me out of the reality of Batman, and it takes me a
well then they
while to
snuck
get back in there. Right. So
a Robin in anyway.
they did.
right, I did right towards the end. But like you, Richard, I've only seen Dark Knight Rises twice.
Yeah.
I was in the theater,
Okay.
and then I went home. I think I went home like almost a year later when it came back around on the anniversary of it. I watched it again, and I haven't watched it since because to me that's the weakest of the three movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what
Yeah.
kills me, and I know that everybody that follows this can probably understand where I'm coming from. Talia al Ghul and Bruce are supposed to have this long, arcing love slash hate story.
Yeah. I was
None of that was in
disappointed that
this.
she killed that she died. I didn't even get that. So I was
Yeah.
disappointed in that. That
And it's like, where was the pit for Roz? She's like really upset and taking revenge because Raish is dead. What happened to
yeah,
the Lazarus pit?
I don't
So,
yeah, all of that. But it was okay. I still find those three movies better than Batman and Robin. Yeah, even
Now,
yeah,
look,
I'll
George
say that.
Clooney has come out publicly and demanded the respect he needs. But you have to admit, in the Flash movie,
oh, he was
seeing George Clooney come in was a classic trope to ending that saga on a like what the f moment.
yeah,
Because when I saw him, I said, "No way, Clooney! You
yeah,
give me Clooney? You erase my Ben Affleck and you give me Clooney." But it was good
he
for
looked
what it was.
yeah
You know
he
what I mean?
yeah he looked pretty smooth in that suit, not his bat suit. because I didn't understand the nipples, but yeah, that suit
Oh
and
God.
everything.
Oh God. Now you're
Oh,
hurting my feelings, man. Bat cheeks on the screen. I'm like, really?
yeah,
I don't.
Yeah. Michael
Oh God.
Keaton fighting in that movie was pretty good too.
yeah, that was
Mm.
Michael Keaton's fight scene in that Flash movie was good.
it was very good. And then when Supergirl was outside, and then she went through all of those guys was amazing as well. So that movie
Yeah,
was
what killed me about Supergirl was that was the perfect chance to make her Laura Kent. Superman's daughter. If you look at her in the comics that she appears in, she
yeah,
was identical. And it killed me that they called her Kara. I was like, that's nowhere near Kara.
yeah,
That totally like threw me from it being her. So I was just like, no, this is no Kara Zor-El. I don't know what y'all are talking about, but no, I mean she was definitely Laura Kent, look, attitude, everything.
true that,
I was just stunned. I was like, why go to that much detail to follow the comic and then give her the wrong name?
true. Well, they do that a lot with a lot of those things. Like we can go back to Superman 25. I was disappointed that they called the guy Ultraman and
Yeah,
him being Bizarro, because I'm like, those are wasted opportunities where you could
yeah,
have Ultraman in this movie as Ultraman from a different universe, and I would have been
yeah.
100% down with that. Or
I
do a
love the way
Bizarro.
Smallville did that.
Yeah, true. Or a Bizarro thing. I mean, I didn't like when we talk about Superman and Lois. I didn't like the Bizarro people or whatever. That annoyed me. But and then I really didn't like what's his name? John what is it? Steele.
Oh, okay.
I didn't like that storyline at all on that show, but I sat and watched every episode. There were times when I was going to give up, but some people really wanted to see every episode.
Yeah,
I don't know who that could have
there were.
been.
I mean, it can't be worse than the Steel show with Shaq.
Yeah, you're right. It's not, but it wasn't. It still wasn't good, and I would have given up after season one. But somebody, well, we got to watch Superman. Oh my God! I don't know who that could have been. Got to sit here and watch it. I don't want to see it. So
We you know, hindsight being what it is and everything else, and I would love to see, of course, I would love to see the Snyderverse come through. Um, and I just got to be honest when I say I really don't. If you're going to give me Superman, it needs to be his own story. I don't need five other people in this thing. And stop,
Yeah,
making these speeches. You're Superman. You're
see,
supposed to be the
yeah,
alpha and omega of metahumans, and
yeah,
in 3 years you would have figured he would have had his shit a little bit more together. You know what I mean? So that was my disappointment with that. Again, though, like you guys
yeah. That
said, would
was
I
one of
take my
my.
grandkids to see it? Yes, it's a good kids movie. But like I said, I need something a little bit more adult. I can't go back now and do that. um
Yeah, what
it's
killed
just
me
like
the
Young
most,
Justice.
honestly, yeah, with Superman, the things that really bothered me, honestly, was they focused way too much on the dog. I get it; it was a cute dog and all, but that's not even actually how Crypto looks in the comics. So, but I mean, they focused way too much on it. They made Superman, like I said, a side character. James Gunn, I'm just going to say it point blank. He is Guardians of the Galaxy. That is basically all he really knows how to write.
Yeah.
He does group. He does group ensemble movies. He doesn't know how to do a solo movie.
yeah,
Because when you do a solo movie, you have to make the stakes big enough for people to care about the solo character, but not too big that the solo character can't take it. So like Zack Snyder actually excels at those, whereas Gunn is really good at the team up movies. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, I love those, but that he made the Guardians the way they're supposed to be.
yeah,
Whereas Superman just doesn't fit in that same mold. But he tried. He tried. I mean, bless his heart, he really tried.
Yeah.
So, and I think he's doing the same thing right now with Supergirl. I think she's going to change Lobo to a good guy.
Well, he didn't
Um,
write that though, so he really had nothing to do with that one. Somebody, I forgot who
okay.
wrote that, so we'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures of Supergirl lately on the trailers, and
Yeah,
it looks like they're trying to dress her up like Star Lord, which I'm kind of concerned about.
yeah,
So, but um, and then the whole thing about her being drunk on Earth. Maybe I'm nitpicking here, but last I checked, once she gets into the yellow sun orbit, even if she's in a spaceship, she should start regaining her cells
true.
to
Yeah, I
get her
said that
superpowers
too.
back.
Yeah,
I said that too,
So,
but people were just, oh no, you don't understand. Oh yeah, I don't. I guess I don't.
yeah. But when she got back to his fortress, if she was still drunk, then that means she would be vulnerable, and Crypto would have torn her a new one.
true.
So, the fact that she was invulnerable and drunk didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't even see how that's possible. So yeah, I guess we'll just have
Yeah,
to wait and see what's coming up. Well,
yeah.
I think that's going to be our show for tonight. Want to thank you, Richard, for joining us, especially talking DC. That's one of my passions, DC. Like I said, Calvis also enjoys DC. We do a little bit of Marvel every now and then, but my wheelhouse is mainly, like I said, DC and Star Wars. Um, Richard, can
Okay.
you tell everybody where they can find you online, especially your books?
As of right now, my book is on blurb.com. As of right now, I know I've given Mark the link. So if anybody likes, you can definitely reach out to Mark. I'm on Facebook as well. Um, Facebook email is going to be r_brooks25 at yahoo.com. So if you search for my Facebook there, you should be able to find me. And if you have an interest in my book, I'll be more than happy to send you the link. So just reach out.
We're going to post it on this as well on our Facebook and on our YouTube channel, so you can have that link once this video has done, probably tomorrow. Calvis, you have anything else you want to say?
It's always a pleasure to have someone on our show that appreciates DC and to have a writer of DC on the show is great. Well, we've only had really one other person who wrote DC stuff and he's doing fan films. Um, and we hope you come back, and we'll have you on Cakes and Cases, Mark's and I DC show. Um, and I would love to just sit around and just talk about some DC with you, man, because I'm telling you, this is the thing that me and Mark really thrive on. And it was great to get a peek into what you thought the Batman universe would unfold. Please keep writing. And if I find any links for DC writers, I'm going to be shooting them your way because they definitely need the help.
Okay, sounds great to me. And Mark, you mentioned Star Wars. I just want to let you know I'm working on a Star Trek and Star Wars crossover book, so I'll share that with you as well once it's completed.
Okay.
And with the Batman novel, I'm doing a sequel. And the Gargoyles books you mentioned earlier, if y'all want to check out those links, I have those as well.
All right. Calvis, you want to take us out?
All right, guys, I want to thank you for joining us. Rob, thank you. Taco Cat, I see that you were here today, so I want to thank you and all of you who are going to be watching this in post. So thank you for joining us and supporting us here at the Cosmic Portal. I want to thank Richard, of course, for insight into DC. It was great talking to you. There's Rob. Thanks, Rob. All right, guys, we will see you in Case and Cases comes back in 2 weeks, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's
So
true.
Case and Cases comes back in 2 weeks. We'll be there giving you something new and something fresh. And hopefully we won't be talking about that sorry Superman movie.